And there we go, all done and set up. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Crash's Community Podcast. Uh, Welcome you all those in chat. And this evening, I am very, very, very lucky, I'll say very again, to have special guest, Scarrow. This gentleman next to me.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm just vibing, just hanging out, having a good time. You know,
Yeah, do you know what? It's really weird
what's
because
that?
it's pitch black here and I can see the window with bright light behind you.
It is 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
Yeah,
yes, time zones.
and it's
Very, very frustrating.
yeah, and it's dark and absolute torrential rain here at the moment. We've had thunder
Oh,
and
great.
lightning storms here.
Dang.
It's what always happens. The UK have had a heat wave for 2 weeks, so pushing 30 degrees. It doesn't seem hot, but
Yeah.
for us over here, it's melting. So after it, always comes the thunderstorms. So
Yeah.
so yeah, it's not over clever, but again, thank you for joining me this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So, just in case there's anyone new to the podcast, I recognise some regulars. Uh, what we basically do is it's a it's an interview, but
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
I'm not going to be grilling Scarrow, making him squirm in his chair. It's nothing like that. It's more of it's a chilled, more relaxed chat. Chat
Yep.
is the more best way to describe it. Uh, we have 4 topics that we go through. There's a little quick fire round thrown in just for good measure. And yeah, that's basically my podcast. So everyone welcome in. It's nice to see some new names in chat. Uh, and right on cue, just as I was about to explain. So what I always like to do, I like to explain to people in chat. So if anything happens, like has just happened now, that Reaper has just done, with gifting a lot of subs, or if people come and host a channel, or anything like that follows, if I don't say thank you straight away, it's purely because I like to do it in between the topics. It doesn't disrupt the flow of the chat. So please don't think I'm ignoring you. There's mods in chat. They will take care of things whilst we're talking, and then I'll pick it up at the end. So that's how things go here. So before we get into it, since I've just seen my alert thing just go mental. So Reaper coming in with, I lost count, a lot of subs. Thank you very much, Reaper. You are too kind. So I'm gonna, and I apologise if I butcher anybody's names. So Wiredox, yourself, Scarrow. Sixel G, I think that's how it's said. Square Dancing. I'll say ducks for that one. Kahrau and Paper. There you go. All the tier 1 subs. Thank you so much for that, Reaper. Very muchly appreciated. Welcome to my channel. That's basically, I'll say it. I'm not going to delay this anymore. We're going to get into it. So, the first topic is always getting to know yourself better. So I always ask my guests this, away from streaming, gaming, and all that type of stuff. So for anyone that doesn't know, whereabouts are you from?
I am from the southern United States.
Southern
Yeah.
United States.
Yes. Southeast. I don't want to be too specific. I don't want to
Yeah.
dox myself, but yeah. Yep.
So, nice area. Obviously, without saying where it is, nice area. All that type of stuff.
It is. It exists. It is an area that I may or may not live in for a while. I don't know. But it is. It's an area. It's hot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Yep.
So, what was life like for little Scarrow growing up?
Oh,
School life, friends, getting up to things. What was it like growing up?
yeah. I've always been really enthusiastic about my education and learning as much as I can. So I was always very school focused. Um, and yeah, I mean, just lots of friends, lots of sports, lots of school was pretty much me growing up, and of course, lots of video games. That's important as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Uh, Away from streaming, you've got a night off. You can just put your feet up on the sofa. You have free choice of the television, either Netflix, Amazon Prime, or whatever it could be. And you were to put your favourite TV show or a favourite film on, what would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one. So I'm kind of weird. I do not like to watch things more than once.
All right.
So yeah, this is I everyone I usually tell that to is like, wait, what? You don't like watch The Office 100 times? So generally, like, I yeah, I'll just like watch, what's new. So like right now, where me and my wife, we make a point to watch all of the Marvel shows when they come out. Big Dead fans, big Doctor Who fans. So
Oh,
like,
yes, the new
yeah,
series is coming soon.
yep, yep. So all of that. Um, right now we're really hyped for like the Boys has another season coming out. Umbrella
Oh,
Academy
I
does.
love The Boys.
That's like my favorite genre is like dystopian superhero or like post-apocalypse type of stuff.
Yeah.
Even I really enjoy a lot of horror stuff too. Like I don't really have a show I fall back to watch consistently, but it's almost certainly something in those genres. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like me. I've got Disney Plus, and how Marvel are doing the TV shows.
It's awesome.
I
It
was
is.
I was apprehensive at first,
Yeah.
especially when they named all those shows that are coming,
Yeah.
because I wasn't sure if it was going to be up to the standards of the movies, but it is,
Yeah.
and they're really
I
good.
I really like what they're doing. Like I'm the type of person that like when I watch a movie, I'll, read forum posts or watch videos on like all the Easter eggs and all the fun facts about the movies and stuff. And
Yes, yeah.
with stuff, like Netflix shows, they usually go for like 3 seasons and then they're over. Or there's movies that'll just like go and then they're done. I really like the Marvel stuff because there's just so much lore and like fun facts and stuff. Like you will never be done learning it all. And they just keep connecting stuff back and to past movies and stuff. Like it is unbelievably brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think what's got me at the moment, obviously with the new phase of where they're heading, is there's so many possibilities of what could
Oh yeah.
or may
They're going
happen.
weird with it. It's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
brilliant, and so I'm going to try and not spoil this for anyone that hasn't seen, but I did like the connection between Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the film I went and watched yesterday, Black Widow. Obviously, that's an end credit scene, and it's just like I never, because I've kept away from all spoilers before I went to watch it, which has been quite hard. We live in the 21st century with the internet and YouTube and everything, and I've managed to keep away. So I didn't know what the end end credit scene was.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I'm like, oh wow, where's that heading? And
Yeah.
and it's great because all the way home, I was driving home with the kids, and my mind just going,
Yeah.
what's happening? But yeah, I absolutely love what Marvel are doing, and well, I think it's kind of a blessing that Disney took them over because they've just ploughed the money and they can do the productions to the
so
high
much fun.
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, what type of or what's your favorite sort of genre of music that you like
Oh,
listening to?
I'm like a metalhead through and through. You can actually see a couple posters back there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm a big metal guy, and that's pretty much like most of what I listen to. I'd say, at least willingly. But yeah, yeah.
Well, I got my name. Well, not the F1 bit, but the Gatecrasher. So Gatecrashers, it's a big like, or it used to be a massive nightclub type thing in the UK with dance music, so like trance, house, all that type of stuff. That's me. I'm I'm I'm
Okay.
I'm well, not now. I'm getting a bit older now. Used to be the sweaty one with the glow sticks on the dance floor. But I enjoy it. Well, I do
Yeah.
enjoy it. Unfortunately, you've got to grow up and have kids, and it all goes out the window. Anyway, so if Gordon Ramsay was to walk in behind you through the door,
Um,
silver platter like that, and it was your favourite food, what would it be?
Damn. Are we allowed to? Am I allowed to cuss? Is that good? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fine?
yeah. There's
Oh, cool.
there's a mature warning thing that comes on at the beginning of the stream. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, my kind of indulgent food, I guess, is what is referred to as a donut burger. So
Right?
essentially, it's a hamburger, but the two buns are donuts. And I
Yeah,
don't have these very often, but if I have the opportunity to eat one, I'm going to type of thing.
yeah.
Best food on earth. So good.
So what is
Yeah.
it? So like obviously you said a donut. Is it like a burger, cheese?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a full donut, patty, cheese, bacon, another donut, and then they are usually served with like raspberry jelly or something if you want
Ooh,
as like a sauce. Yeah, it's excellent.
ooh.
People usually are like, "Oh, that sounds gross," but it's like it's not. It's perfect.
What
Yeah.
what type of side do you have with it then?
Usually, so the place that we usually get them from does like one of those deals where you take a whole potato and you like spiral it into like a one long spiral fry. You
All
know,
right,
it's not a curly fry, but it's like a really long thin strand.
cool.
Yeah.
I need to remember this. I keep trying to remember all the guests from America, what they mentioned,
Yeah.
because I'm actually coming across to Florida Easter next year,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be stuck at McDonald's because, well, hand on heart, I hate McDonald's. The it's poor. If there's anyone that works in McDonald's in chat, I apologise, but that's just my own personal thing. I don't like McDonald's, and I don't want to be in McDonald's when I go to America. I'd like to try different
Yeah. Well,
places.
the donut burgers are not they're not like it's not like a regional thing. Like it's
Ah,
a one restaurant in a state might have it. So
right.
I'm not sure if you'll be able to find it. It's a very kind of like niche thing, but if you come across one, I'd highly recommend it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's you've got me feeling all hungry, and I only had my dinner not so long back. So, away from gaming, streaming, working, what type of things do you like to get up to?
Yeah, usually if I'm not streaming and if I'm not working on videos and I'm not doing science stuff, then it's playing guitar or chilling with the wife. It's pretty much my only other two hobbies, I'd say. It's all I have time for. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you've mentioned science there, so
Yeah.
I have to ask you because there's all different types of science, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know anything. I got the basics at school as I was growing up, but what type of stuff do you do? I don't know if you can talk about it
Yeah,
or
no, that's fine.
vaguely
Yeah,
or
so I'm working on my PhD in polymer chemistry, so like materials.
okay,
Um, and so I'm work in the lab. I do research, and I essentially design and synthesize different polymeric materials for a variety of uses.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds cool. So
it, it is something.
so so what's the aim with that?
So for most of my projects, the specific aim, you can use certain polymers to extract proteins from membranes.
Yeah,
So we extract photosystem one from certain cyanobacteria, and that's like just to study the structure of it. The
yeah,
hope is one day you'll be able to take photosystem one, which implants allows them to make energy from light, and you'll be able to make solar panels with them. Is the way out goal. Right now,
Right.
we're just trying to find a way to efficiently extract them and isolate them.
So maybe sometime in the next 5 to 10 years, we might see you on the front of Time magazine.
Probably not. Grad students never get credit for that sort of stuff. So
Well.
nah, it's you'll see on Twitter. I'll have a Dr. Scaro9. That's what my name will go to when I get my PhD, and then I'll just retweet something saying, "Hey, I worked on this" or something, you know. But
Yeah.
I will not get any credit for it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a shame. It's a shame.
It's how it works. I don't like it, but it is what it is. So
But you know what? I'll take my hat off because that sounds like one, a lot of hard work and dedication, but obviously it's something you really enjoy doing. It sounds like fun.
yeah,
Doing it.
yeah. It's all a means to an end. Like I said, I'm working on my PhD, and so the goal is, you know, get that and then get like a career job. But for now it is just, you know, what I have to do, and it's what I do enjoy it. It's not, you know, it's whatever. So
Yeah. Oh, nice. So that's the end of the first topic. So before we go on to the second topic, which is going to be about gaming, I'm sure I saw an alert. So Skull Rider, thank you very much for the host. Muchly appreciated. So gaming. Let's move on to what we do most days, video games.
Yep.
So, what was the first video game that you played?
Ooh, that's a hard question. The very first game I can remember playing, I don't even know. Probably something. My dad was a big gamer, and I I remember watching him play a lot of games really young. Like I remember, like the first games I remember watching, which really got me enthralled with the whole idea of watching content, was he used to play like the original Prey, Quake, BioShock, like um, games that were probably a little bit higher rating than I should have been watching at the time, but they were fantastic.
Yeah.
But in terms of like actually playing myself, I remember we had an N64 at his house growing up, and we did play a lot of like the original Donkey Kong on 64. Not the original, sorry, Donkey Kong 64, which was like a RPG type thing. And then also like the original Mario N64. Like Ocarina of Time, definitely one of the first games I ever played. All the classics, and then all the classic Nintendo games. I actually didn't own an Xbox until high school. So
All right.
yeah.
So, would you say the N64 was your first console then? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard. So the first console that was actually like mine. So the N64 was really his, but like a Christmas around that time, I got a GameCube, and that's what I would consider to be like my first console. It's not the first console I played, but the first one I really felt like it was mine. Yeah, it would have been in the GameCube.
Yeah. One of my sons had a GameCube, and we used to play. What was it? He used to play? Was it Pokemon Stadium?
Coliseum.
I think it was
There were two
Coliseum.
Pokemons. There was Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD.
Right, so
I
it
think
was Coliseum then.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had loads of fun on that. Because it was the one that had the little tiny discs.
Yeah, they're like 4-inch discs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you something, they were built differently then as well, because the amount of times he knocks it off his desk or whatever, and it used to hit the floor, it'd still get back up and work. If I did that, I don't know if you can see it just here, my PS5. If that was to fall off there, it'd be in a million pieces on the floor.
Yeah.
So yes,
Absolutely.
they're not built to last nowadays. So this is always a tough one.
Mhm.
So what would you say is your favorite game of all time?
Oh, I mean, I'm just gonna say Destiny 2. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna, I know that's a cop out, but yeah, I mean, I put more time into Destiny 2, or just combine it with Destiny. It doesn't even matter. More time together than the next game times 3, right? So Easily Destiny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, mine's the same answer. I've been playing Destiny since D1 beta,
Yeah.
7 years
Yeah.
of properly no life in it. But I do have another game that I did have time to play, and that's Mass Effect, the
Oh,
Mass Effect trilogy. And I love that. It's a big space opera
yeah, I think I
going
played
around.
through one of the Mass Effects sometime. I'm not really a fan of third person shooters,
Yeah,
so I would believe Mass Effect is right.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I when I'm not playing Destiny, with some of my fellow grad students, I have a Minecraft server that we put a bit of time into. I'm a big Minecraft guy. It's all right. Um, and then like horror or like story driven games, so like BioShock or Dead Space, stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, oddly enough, that was my next question. What other types of games do you like playing?
Those and I'm a big like growing up, the first franchise I really started getting into was like Call of Duty Zombies.
Yes,
We used
yeah,
to we'd have LAN parties at my friend's house and do all the Easter eggs and stuff, and that was still a big fan to this day of that. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, that was same as us, where we used to cart our PS3s round to a friend's house and do the LAN parties with the zombies.
yeah,
And the original Zombies was, well, I think the original one came with World at War.
World at War. Yep, my
Yeah,
freshman year of high school, actually, I believe.
and that was brilliant, especially for the time or where it
Yeah.
was. And then the
Oh no,
first,
that was actually before high school for me. That was like seventh grade, I think.
wow,
A long time ago, dude.
you're making me feel old.
Hey, I turned 24 next month, so like, I'm getting there.
uh, I turned 30 something in about a week and a half.
Oh, there you go.
I'm just saying the 30 something because it's upper 30 something. But anyway, uh, but yeah, I think Zombies was great on Black Ops and Black Ops 2. I'm not overly keen on it at the moment. I don't know. I think it's just got a bit too much. There's too much going on with it.
I see.
I
I
like I like this. I like the stripped down, more basic version.
Yeah,
That again, that's just me. There might be people that are going to flame me for that and say that I don't know.
I think Cold War plays really well, but I think it's missing a lot of the character. Like you have like just generic operators, like it's not the original four crew that had like so much personality and brought so much to it. And I think
Yeah,
the mode really suffers because of that. Like I just remember Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, like some of the absurd quotes and just like the character interaction and the story was just so personable. It was awesome. And
yeah,
I've always been a big like Easter egg guy, so I don't mind when there's a lot going on in the map, but I do understand like now you pack a bunch of weapons and upgrade the weapon rarity, and it's like two systems for something that could easily be one. Yeah,
yeah,
I get that.
yeah.
Um,
Because what was it I did enjoy about one of the previous ones? Oh, I really like these films as well. I can't remember. I can't believe his name. Uh, the Land, Day of the Dead, and uh,
oh, George,
yeah. So when they brought him into it, and he was
oh,
like,
Call of the Dead.
"Yeah, Call of the Dead,
Yeah,
that's it," and he was a little boss that used
yeah,
to
like a
stalk you around the map.
roaming boss zombie. That was awesome.
That was really
Fantastic.
good. So yeah,
Yeah,
and incorporate it. Tried to make a little story of it, but it was ace.
yeah,
But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Uh,
excellent. Also, that map, fun fact, has its Easter egg song is "Not Ready to Die" by Avenged Sevenfold, and that was very, very like one of the catalysts for me becoming a metalhead was the Easter egg song specifically on that map because Call of the
yeah.
Dead, like I played it so much. It was like that in 115, which was the song on Kino der Toten
Oh
by
yeah,
Alina and Stephen Sherwood and or Kevin Sherwood, and those two songs are like the reason. Pretty much, I am the way I am today because like music is such an important thing to me. But
yeah,
it's really weird, like looking back, like I was just like a middle schooler hanging out and having fun, and it's weird how those things snowball, further
Yeah,
down. It's cool.
yeah. Well, it's like I play. Well, I'm playing quite a bit more of it now, but I play Warzone.
Yeah.
So you can have tracks that play in the vehicles when you get in. So I have
Mhm.
mine set to the original Zombies music. So whenever I get in, it's that original Zombies tune that plays in it.
It's called
And it's
Damn.
yeah,
Really good.
and it
Yeah.
still sends sometimes like tingles down your arm when you're listening to it.
Yeah. Awesome.
So before we head on, I'll just have a quick glance. So no, there's nothing. So we will head on to Destiny. Obviously,
Okay.
we've both mentioned it. It's one of the most favorite game of all time. So we might as well talk about it.
Absolutely.
So, what was it that got you interested in Destiny?
Yeah. So at the time, very, very late in high school, I guess, or like whatever. I had a friend that we played a lot of Borderlands 2 together.
Yeah,
And that's where I started really developing the looter shooter, as like me falling in love with it. And he was like, one day he was like, "Hey, there's this game called Destiny coming out. We should play it." Um, and really just kind of there were some complications. I couldn't play right at launch because my family actually didn't have internet right when Destiny came out. But I
yeah,
started playing right before House of Wolves, like the week before House of Wolves launched,
yeah.
and we both started playing, like picked it up, started playing then, and the last 7 years have been just a blank. I have no idea what I've done to get me here, but here we are.
So, in all the time you've been playing the game, or do you class it as a series? Because two
Yeah,
games.
sure.
Yeah, you class it as a series.
Yeah.
So, across both the games, what moment sticks out to you as like a wow moment? Something that you think that I always use this example because it's my wow moment, but it was in King's Fall Raid, right at the end, just before the
Oh, when it
last,
works.
and the big Oryx just goes bang,
Yeah.
bang with his, and he just appears, and you're there, and it was the first time I'd done a raid. I
Yeah.
hadn't done Bog, so, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my god, have we got to fight him? And it always sticks in my mind. But
Yeah.
what would you say that anything?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I there's obviously a lot of ups with Destiny. I think like my biggest moment isn't really in the game, but it was for whatever reason I had like 3,000 subscribers at the time, but Activision invited me out to the Destiny 2 reveal event. So like
Oh
I went
yeah,
to it was in LA, and there was a moment the way they had it set up. It was in a SpaceX hangar. Um, and you just kind of like there's like a red card. You got your name tags, and then there's like a red carpet type of thing, and then you entered, and then it just like enters in this huge hangar, and then they have like the Salvatore Destiny 2 soundtrack playing, and it was just
yeah,
like yeah, it's like as soon as you hit the air on the inside, it was just like it was absurd. I was speechless the entire time. It was so cool. Um, and just like I don't know, it was just such a that entire trip was only like it was weird because I got like an email and like at first I was like this is a scam, this is not legit, and I checked with I knew some people and I checked and they're like no, you actually this is real. And so like I just flew out by myself to LA for like 3 days, and I got to meet like a bunch of other creators. It was awesome. And then that happened. And it was like that entire trip has been, it was just surreal, like the whole
yeah,
thing. And, but like in game, I don't know. That's a hard one. We do a lot of like low man raid challenges and stuff. So it
yeah,
would probably be like the first low man raid challenge I did was solo Argos. That was like the feeling that you get after that is just like, that is what pure dopamine feels like,
yeah, yeah.
doing stuff like that. Or I'm trying to remember what like the first like just super the first time I remember being unbelievably hyped about the game. Maybe when we first went flawless. I remember it was Black Shield. I don't remember the fire team.
Yeah,
um, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's just so many of these moments. Like I've done a lot of like hopping around from like player groups and
yeah,
met a lot of fantastic people and done like an insane number of really fun, crazy things, and it's yeah, it's just all of it. Yeah.
So it's like we're on the same wavelength here because you've alluded to what my next question is. So you do a lot of low man stuff in
Yeah, yeah.
Destiny on the
So
hardest difficulty. What's the thought process? Do you think, right, I'm just going to do this, or do you think, is there a thought process? Oh, that might be possible. I'm going to give it a go.
yeah, so
How do you come up with it?
most of it, I'm on the tail end of it. So most of it has been up to this point. I hope this changes going forward, but up to this point, it's been really just doing challenges I see other crazy people do.
Yeah,
And so it's like, so the first one, I mean, so it really gave me a kind of a taste for this. It wasn't exactly this, but it was when Petra's Run first came out. Or sorry, Last Wish. There's the Petra's Run or Do
yeah,
the Last Wish Falls. When my fire team did that, I I was like unbelievably excited, and that just kind of like set off a chain reaction where it's like, what else can I do?
yeah,
And so that really I started meeting people in the community, and we did some 2 and 3 man bosses and stuff, and that really culminated at Arrivals, barely even a year ago, not even a year ago. At the end of Arrivals, I decided I was going to solo Argos before it went away. Did that, and then as soon as that happened, it was like, to me, being the best player is less about technical skill and more about knowledge of how the game works.
yeah,
You can, there's a lot more. It's kind of like similarly. I think like educational knowledge is less about how much you know and how much you can think on your feet using the stuff you do know.
yeah,
And so I feel like Destiny's very similar to that. And so I really like doing these low man challenges because it teaches you usually some weird thing about how the game works and teaches you a different strategy or
yeah,
different combination of perks and stuff. And then you can go forward and apply that to hard situations in the future. Um, and so that's kind of, I push myself to learn as much about the workings and the mechanics as I can. And the best way to do that is by soloing an encounter that has mechanics intended for 6 people and finding out or learning how to do those with a single person.
yeah.
Or 2, like we just recently did 2-man flawless deep stone crypt, me and my friend ATP, who's a boss, by the way. So yeah, like right now I'm going for solo Atheon, and there's so many like little nuances there that teach you just so much about the timing of the game and
Yeah.
how different perks connect and stuff. It's brilliant. I love it.
So have you? Is the aim to? Obviously, you've said that you've seen others do these things first,
Yeah,
so then you've gone to do it. Is the aim to eventually be the first at doing something?
that would be cool. Unfortunately, I think like a lot of this is time constraints for the time being. Like I don't, yeah, grad school is my main focus, so it's
Yeah,
like I spend most of my time doing that, and I would like to eventually have enough time on a whim to go invest time into some of these challenges. I think that'd be really cool. But I think for me, it's pushing myself as far as I can go.
yeah,
Seeing like I know I can do these challenges, I just have to do it. And so it's like it's learning and proving to myself that I can do them.
yeah,
Um, Meeting some epic people along the way. I've met a lot of friends, reaching out, asking to do challenges, um, and learning challenges and stuff like that. And so it's really just trying to, as corny as it sounds, be the best Destiny player that I can be, I guess. So
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, so I'll start with this question first. So, out of the series, what would you class as your favorite raid?
Last Wish.
Last
Yeah,
Wish.
pretty easily. Yeah.
So it is. I like Last Wish because it's a different thing each time. If you see what I mean. So
Yeah.
you start obviously in the first encounter, and you've got to go between the the circles split into thirds, miss the bombs, and then go do DPS, run into the little cubby holes where the doors go up. I like that, and then obviously you've got the great big ogre that's firing stuff at you. You've got to go through. It's different, and I like it for that. Obviously, Riven is a different type of encounter.
Riven is what I consider to be the most perfect raid encounter Bungie has ever made. Riven legit, not the cheesable one. I wish they would have patched that, to be honest. I think the full Riven encounter is the epitome of what a raid encounter should be.
Yeah. Yeah. So, next question. And I always try to word this right so it doesn't look like I'm having a moan. uh, so you do Grandmasters, and obviously there's the Master Vogue.
Yep.
Now, my question is, and I've had a debate about this over the last few weeks, which is why I've added it, and I purposely want to ask you because I know you do these harder activities.
Yeah.
But do you class the rewards stroke the loot for those activities as adequate or appropriate for the encounter that you've done? So, like for
Yeah.
for Grandmasters, it'll be an Adept Palindrome, and obviously there's the new ones for the Master Vogue. Do you class them as rewarding for the activity?
Yeah. So I think Grandmaster Nightfalls are incredibly rewarding. It's my vision's a little skewed too because it might be kind of difficult for some people to do these things. I'm fortunate enough to have friends who have put a lot of time into perfecting our builds and stuff, and so there's weeks where we'll go and just farm. Last time it was double loot, and we farmed. It was like Savathun's Song, like 2 seasons ago, or actually, I guess that would have been Arrivals, so 3 seasons ago. And like we just picked a weekend and we literally just farmed for like I think I had like a 9-hour stream. And so and they are absurdly rewarding. I think Grandmaster Nightfalls are bang for your buck, the most rewarding thing in the entire game. Master Vogue does not really share that. 6 time lost weapons, I think. Yeah, 6 time lost weapons.
Yeah.
Only 3 of them, in my opinion, are really worth farming God rolls for: Praetus, Hezen, and Found Verdict. The other 3 are fine, but I don't really like. There are so many guns that do what Fatebringer does, and then like do it better. So I'm not really a huge fan. Scout rifles suck. So what the hell's that thing called? The Scout rifle. Dang it.
Yeah.
The Vision of Confluence.
Yeah.
I don't care. And then machine gun sucks. So the Hezen or the corrective measure is, I don't really care. So I think 3 out of the 6 guns are good. I kind of like how they're spacing it out. I know people don't, but I think any reason to continue doing raids is needed. So I do like the idea of 1 legendary per week. I think they're rewarding in the sense that you can go into normal Vogue, farm a Templar checkpoint for a couple of hours, and then buy as many time lost weapons as you want because there are only 25 spoils versus 20 of the normal ones. So I've maxed out my spoils a couple times this season, but other than that, like it kind of ends. I would have liked to have seen like an ornament set like they did with the Levy raids. They did it with the both Eater Worlds and Spire had it as well. I would have loved to have seen some sort of maybe the Age of Triumph armor drop or some sort of just extra Vex effects or something as an ornament. I don't really know.
Well,
but I think the thing. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say something similar to Rise of Iron.
Yeah, exactly like that.
Because they brought all the ornaments with the glowing stuff.
Yeah, I think Bungie's always really hesitant to put the best weapons at the hardest activities, or like not always, but they want them to be a little bit more accessible. But I think that's why the hardest activities should make you look the coolest. And so I think you're missing some of that armor flair. But I think most importantly, the hard raids, going back to Rise of Iron, like what this showed me is the hardest raids and this sort of thing always need to have cosmetics that are chaseable. And so it's really unfortunate that so Master Vogue has a ship, but it comes from a Triumph. It doesn't have a Sparrow and it doesn't have a shader. But if you think back to Wrath of the Machine Heroic, I ran that every week trying to get the Nano Poesis ship, the Weldfire shader, like some of the coolest looking things in the
never got
game.
them.
Yeah, yeah, absurdly low drop rates. That's what this content needs. Is
Yeah.
like put it at the end, make it don't put it on a weekly lockout. Say like you can just farm this encounter until you get it. Just some cosmetics and then I think the weapons for what they are excellent. But I worry that they're next week is the final week because it's the final challenges Templar, which is where we get um Fatebringer, but then Found Verdict comes from the Triumph. So you'll
Yeah.
get both of the remaining weapons next week. And it's like I don't think I'll ever do a Master Vogue again. Like it's just
Yeah.
which is a shame because I think there should be the most incentive to run the hardest activities. And I feel like some of that is missed out on.
Yeah, because I haven't run a Master Vogue yet, but I've obviously got streamer friends who,
Yeah.
and when I'm chilling on an evening, I'll watch them, and there's a lot of wipes, and
Yeah,
you
it's
can
tough.
you can tell there's a little bit of tension in the air after so long,
Yeah.
and
But
I'm thinking to
good
myself,
though. That's
it
I like
is,
that
it is,
tension.
and it isn't.
Yeah, that's fair. But it's also like master raids don't have to be for everyone. Like not I think it is really good when there's content that not everyone can do. And I think it
Yeah,
should push you and your fire team and your ability to communicate and stuff. And I think, if you're getting a little bit angry, a little bit angsty, as long as no one's like ruining friendships over it, I
yeah,
don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's really pushing you to your limits as a team and as a player, which I love. And once again, I have a really skewed view because I do stupid hard challenges just for the hell of it all the
yeah,
time. Um, but I really like when I don't have to break the game to do those. When Bungie's like, here's a stupid hard challenge, go do it. Not some player found a glitch that allows you to solo Atheon or whatever, So
yeah,
um, I like that they're. I mean, this is kind of the only content that Master Vogue is the only thing in the game I think that I would consider to be not accessible to everyone. Like I think Grandmaster Nightfalls, some people say they're really hard. I think like with enough, I mean, if you just look up a Fallout plays guide on what your team composition should be, you'll be fine,
yeah,
right? Um, but they'll push you. They're like a stepping stone into it, but like I think it's okay if not everyone can complete Vogue. I think we need some more of that,
yeah,
because it's not like trials. Like if you can't go flawless, you can try to get better or whatever. But more than likely, you're just being like steamrolled by sweat lords or hackers or recovs or whatever.
yeah,
But like PvE enemies are only as hard as they will ever be, right? There's no randomness to it. It's like you guys will just need to learn how to do a little bit better, refine your strategies, or get better loot or whatever. And I think that's okay. I think to
yeah.
me, I wish we had a little bit more of that. It's been an aspect of the game that I think that has been largely ignored since Warmind. If you can even like Spire of Stars and Eater of Worlds, like their heroic versions weren't even that hard. Like I think the last
No, they were more
they were goofy.
frustrating and
Yeah,
glitch when it glitched and it was frustrating, but they were
yeah,
hard. Don't get me wrong, when we first started doing Spire and then the obviously Prestige Spire.
yeah. Siege was weird though because it was like you can only use a linear fusion, and it was like, oh, this is kind of dumb,
I
but
know.
it is what it is. I think the last time that I felt like something was truly like Bungie was like, you have to be good to do this, or you have to like really work your ass off to do this. Was like heroic Leviathan, or regular or master. I forget what it was called back then.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just Prestige Leviathan. Yeah, it was. That was the last thing where I was like, damn, they're really sending it. But then it's just been, I think they're working their way back up to it, but I think they got a little bit scared of it for a bit. So
Yeah, well, you're right with that because obviously each of the encounters for the Prestige Leviathan changed slightly. So,
yeah,
like the Callous Throne Room. So if you were comfortable, I'll go in the Shadow Realm. You guys stay in the Throne Room, and you always had who was stronger or wanted to do. But with the Prestige, it's when it teleported you, so
yeah,
you could never stay. So it just threw it up each
yeah.
time.
That's what I love. Like, in everyone always talks about like, oh, we don't like Crota's End because there's one hero and like 5 people that don't do anything. And it's like I think heroic versions of raids or master versions of raids should challenge that. I think they should
Yeah,
make you, because for the most part, if you do a master Vogue, everyone has to be pretty damn perfect, So I like that a lot. I think that's cool.
Yeah. I think, and obviously I'll get your view on it. What I like, what they do is when there's a community thing, so something just appears. So obviously the prime example is Outbreak Prime
Oh yeah,
from
like or
from
Corridors of Time or Niobe Labs, those type of thing.
yeah, and
Yeah,
obviously when Wrath of the Machine came out and everyone was working out how to stand on this cylinder, then this cylinder, then this. Oh,
yeah,
look, it's up and that. What's this? And then it led on to
yeah,
the other stuff. That is it's brilliant every time. And even if you can't be involved with it, just sitting back and watching the community go to work is there's so many intelligent, clever, intelligent, passionate people in the community, and it
yeah.
brings everyone together. I love it.
Those are always my good. That actually kind of goes back to my love of Easter eggs and zombies. Like that's the closest Destiny probably will ever come to that. And
Mm.
I mean, I actually like I have a Corridors of Time tattoo. This is the very final piece of Corridors of Time,
Ah,
Diamond.
right.
Yeah, and so because that was an insane week for I think in that week I didn't really sleep. It's like I'd go into the lab, I'd come home and I'd stream like all night. It was
Yeah,
my wife hated me the entire week. I think I ended up streaming like 40 or 45 hours over the week of that. And it was like and I didn't take an hour off of work. Like it was dumb. It was
yeah.
I hated myself, but it had just had to be done type of thing. And we hit 50,000 subscribers that week. And that was the promise. If I have 50,000, I get a tattoo. But also, we were part of the very final team that like solved it. So is that will always be one of my favorite parts of Destiny, like that sort of stuff. I can't. I hope we get more. You know, they kind of did them Niobe Labs and then Quarters of Time, almost exactly a year apart in like January,
Yeah.
or well, I guess closer to March, so in between there. And I was hoping like, oh, this year we were going to get something, and we never really did. We kind of did with Harbinger, I guess, sort of, but I want more like you said, like super large scale community puzzles. That's like I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what I did enjoy watching was the drama unfold with the Corridors of Time. So when the grave was found and it had a sword on, and
Yeah.
everyone was speculating, oh, Ray's Lighter's coming back. Oh, Dark Drinker's
People
coming
always
back.
crack me up with that, dude. I always have to say the amount of times I have to
And it
say
just blew up, and
expectations in check.
the Twitter feed just going mental. Oh, da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. I'm like, is it coming back? Hang on, let me get on there. Let me just watch. But it got me in watching and engaged with what was going on.
Yeah. The community always cracks me up with stuff like that. There's a I remember very specifically the Warmind trailer. There's the giant orb that the boss of Tree of Probabilities is in, like in the just a giant thing, and there's a shot in the trailer of the Guardian like jumping across a gap in front of that orb, and he's holding a hand cannon. I just remember the entire community's like, Thorn is back, Thorn is back, and it was like very much not Thorn, and like people were going crazy, dude, like that.
Yeah.
That always just is just like stop. Expectations in check, please.
Yeah.
We're all going to be disappointed. That's always really funny to me.
Well, we've got Witch Queen coming up. No doubt there'll be a few
Yep.
things that will get thrown up there.
I hope.
Well,
We'll see. Well, I hope there's a lot of secrets in the
well,
expansion.
the speculation, obviously, rumors.
Yeah.
Rumors is obviously the Dreadnought comes up every time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think
If
the Cosmodrome was as popular as Bungie was hoping.
no,
Because it was as soon as they it was like on the road to the Witch Queen, they released like a Vidoc, and it was like originally the Plague Lance was we were gonna bring that back, but now we're not going to. And as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, they're not happy with how the players have responded to the Cosmodrome.
yeah,
I would be very surprised if we get a lot more of the Destiny 1 patrol areas back. I
yeah,
don't think maybe like little tidbits like you can see part of Venus in Vault of Glass, like maybe we'll get stuff like that, but something tells me they weren't very happy with how that turned out.
no. It makes me wonder if they may tie a season to the Cosmodrome, maybe. So there's a lot more
Maybe
people going there just to use it as it's there.
It would be kind of weird because I mean, so next season I expect to be Dreaming City because the last thing that we have to do before we confront Savathun is tie up the Marasov storyline. So I would fully expect next season to be Dreaming City. And then Witch Queen it looks like it's going to be Old Chicago potentially because of much to my dismay, I was really hoping for like some weird hive planet, but if you look at the concept art, they've put out a couple images now and both of them are like really swampy. That looks exactly like the concept art, and we know that they've been going through and reusing scrapped parts of Destiny 1. They're doing the whole Rasputin storyline with the arrivals. They're doing Europa, which was originally in Celadus in Destiny 1, and then they're doing, or potentially, like, it would make sense, like, they also did the Deepstone Crypt, which was, there's a lot of this unused concept art from Destiny 1, and it seems like they're finally circling back around and using it.
Yeah.
And Old Chicago's there. I was really hoping for, like, a War Moon or some, go to Fundament or just get weird with it. I think Destiny's the best when they get weird with it. And it's like, another Earth Zone. So I really hope not, but I'm sure it'll be awesome no matter what.
Yeah, definitely.
It would just seem weird to me to do, like, if they did bring Old Chicago, it'd seem weird to me to do a Cosmodrome themed season close to that.
Yeah.
They've been kind of tying it in. Like, there was the Battleground and Chosen. Well, that's it. That's the only way. Oh, I guess no, that's the only seasonal content that's been there. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the chat now. And obviously, what do you guys think will be the next reprise raid from D1? Now, personally, I think they're just going to do it in order.
Yeah.
So Crota will be next.
I think that's a good call. I think in terms of workflow, I think Wrath of the Machine would need the least amount of changes to make it a Destiny 2 raid. Like, I feel like Crota would need quite a bit of work. I feel like King's Fall, I really hope they change a lot of things about that raid if they bring it back. There were a lot of mechanics I just hated and I don't think work well in Destiny 2. But like Wrath is like, out of any Destiny 1 raid, I think Wrath is the closest to a Destiny 2 raid in terms of complexity, scale, things like that. So I have this fun theory that I kind of entertain with chat all the time. So a lot of people think Crota should be a dungeon, and I hate that idea. I think that is the worst idea ever. Like saying, hey Bungie, this content doesn't meet my expectations, make it worse. No, ask them to make it better. Push them to make it a raid,
Yeah.
And so kind of what I have decided on would be a really fun idea is, originally Crota's End and King's Fall were supposed to be one giant raid.
Yeah.
So what if when they brought them back to Destiny 2, they just took the best encounters from Crota, the best encounter from King's Fall, and they just lifted those up and made them one giant raid. And then you kill Crota, you get transported to the Dreadnought, and then you skip all the boring encounters, and then you just get to do the highlights of both raids in one mega raid. That would be awesome. And just call it like Lineage or Heritage or something. It'd be sick.
Remix.
Yeah, exactly. So because I think there's a lot of stuff about Crota's that, like, I don't think Bridges or Deathsinger would work very well in Destiny 2. And the first like up until War Priest of King's Fall is like nothing. Like, it's not rewarding. It's like 30 minutes to trek across everything, and it's just kind of like there. And then Sisters sucks. The Sisters encounter right before Oryx. And then I personally despise the Oryx encounter too. I think it's incredibly boring because it forces you to go 4 rounds. If there was like a Riven mechanic where you could do damage and shorten it, I think it would be fine. But I think they could. I think they could make like a 7 encounter raid between the two. To take best parts of Crota, best parts of King's Fall, super raid, 7 encounters, make everything a little bit more fun than it was in Destiny 1. Easy. So I don't know. That's my fun theory. It almost certainly will not happen though. So
yeah, I can imagine that they're just gonna roll out as they came out originally.
Yeah, I think that's honestly like. That's how they're probably going to do it. I imagine they made a lot of money on Vault with the emote and the shader bundles that were Vault themed, but I obviously don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, it's like you say, so some of it won't work. It's like the bridge section in Crota. Well, Titans can thunder crash for miles.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd have to put like a permanent death barrier for sure. Or
Yeah,
it's like I said, it's just the encounter itself is not it's not really that in depth. Like it's not really something you would expect in a Destiny 2 raid, which means I don't think it's worth coming back in its current state. So
yeah. Well, hopefully they tweak it and bring it back
yeah.
with some decent loot behind it.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the end of the Destiny topic. Uh, so before we move on to the quickfire round,
Okay.
uh, let's say this right. Swinkle Todd, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciated. Right, so quickfire round. So how this works is I'm going to say two things and you just pick either or. Really easy.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So first one, Crucible or Gambit?
Oh, Crucible, easy.
Zavala or Ikora?
Zavala.
The Traveller or the Darkness?
Don't really care. Both. Yes. No.
Titans, Hunters or Warlocks?
Hunter. Hunter, I play Warlock the most, but Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter main, so that's fine by me.
Yeah, I started off in Destiny 1 as a Hunter main, and it's just kind of like it's kind of just a joke, like a joke I do at this point. Like I always, I made like a propaganda video where I said elect me as your Hunter Vanguard during Guardian games. I thought that was pretty funny, but uh, honestly, if you look at my playtime over the last 2 years, almost certainly I've played on Warlock by far the most. And they're just so you can crutch them so easily for solo
Yeah.
content, so it's whatever.
Yeah, I was a Warlock main all near enough 90% of D1's life
Yeah,
span. And yeah, where you could obviously go down and just go poof, press the button.
yeah, self res.
Self res. Yeah. Well, I've lost where I am now. Action films or comedy films?
Action.
Right, I might know the answer to this because you sort of alluded to it right at the beginning. Pizza or burger and fries?
Oh, see, donut burger, but then pizza, and then a regular burger.
Ah,
Yeah, there's some tiers, like very close, but pizza's like epic, So
it is
yeah.
definitely. So last one.
Huh?
Last Wish or Wrath of the Machine?
Oh, Last Wish, easy. Yeah.
Good choice. So we're going to head on to the last topic for the podcast, which is streaming stroke content creating. So obviously this is what you do. This is where people come and watch you and interact with yourself on a daily basis. So we need to talk about it because
Sure.
it'd be criminal if I had you on and didn't even speak about what you actually do. So how long have you been streaming stroke content creating?
Oh my goodness. So I started the summer I graduated high school. I started YouTube, which would have been 6 years ago, I think. And then I started streaming probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, so that's quite long. That's a long time in streaming content creating time frame. Really,
Yeah.
hell of a time that. Well, what is it that you enjoy most about content creating?
So content creating, I think, is so in terms of making videos, it's very methodical, and you can teach. I like teaching people weird facts or framing the game in ways that people wouldn't normally think of it. I also really like what's really popular on my channel is a lot of like ranking videos, like ranking things 0
Yeah.
to best. I think one thing I've noticed as I've gone through my life is a lot of people struggle conveying or like having a conversation or an argument. Like I think
Yeah.
people are really bad at conveying their opinions there. And so like with a lot of my content, I try to set a really good example is a really pretentious way of phrasing it, but I try to show how I give my feedback to Bungie in a very nice and concise way without calling them names.
Yes.
Um, and people seem to like it. I don't know. And so I think you can do a lot of things really efficiently with like a ranking lists, like provide entertainment and yeah, just I don't know. I like it. And then so streaming, I like the it's much more low effort in my opinion than making videos. Like videos, I'll put hours and hours into streaming. If I've had a long day, just like make a thumbnail, go live, no preparation. It's like I'll figure the rest out when I'm live, you know?
Yeah.
And so, and then of course the interaction too. It's always a lot more fun. Like when I do these insane challenges, you know, there's a lot of YouTubers that will do challenges like offline, and I would go insane. Like doing tedious things, talking to people is
Yeah.
like always way better than just doing them by yourself in a dark room, listening to music or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe the journey from, say, your first subscriber on YouTube to, I did look it up earlier, 70,000?
70,000, yeah, 70.2.
Yeah.
Um,
How would you class the journey from obviously getting your very first, you've got a subscriber to now?
yeah, that's a hard question. It's hard to put it into words. It's really always looking at analytics, look at what people respond really positively to, and leaning more into that. And seeing what look around the community, see what people aren't doing, and lean really heavily into that. And I think it's my entire YouTube journey, I guess, has been more of a journey of like, where do I fit in, and how can I improve, and
Yeah.
both in content creation, entertainment, as a player. Yeah.
What would so say someone starting up, the obviously create a YouTube channel, they want to make content. What would be the one simplest bit of advice that would help someone?
Yeah, don't force yourself to do it. I get that a lot. Like a lot of people think it's really easy money. Well, first off, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like don't do it thinking you'll make any money. Go into it only if you enjoy it. I think one thing that I fell prey into really early was feeling I had to hit a quota. You know, I had to make 4 videos a week.
Right.
I had to do things. And then as I went into grad school and I started having more time sinks in my real life, I started realizing like it's just not sustainable to balance everything, for my mental health, for everything, to hold yourself to that standard, and your
Yeah.
quality will suffer because of it. And so I think it's very much do what you enjoy on your own time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if people watch, people watch. If people don't, then you still learn something, right? Like even if no
Yeah.
one watches your videos, you became a little bit faster at editing, or you learned how to make a cool thumbnail, or you can take something from it. There's always a lesson. So
Yeah.
I think it should be very self-gratifying rather than the other way around. One other lesson though that I really want to stress is like I see a lot of creators say like don't look at your numbers, and I actually really hate that take. Like I think whether your numbers are where you want them to be or not, I think there is an incredible amount of value in learning from your analytics. You know, looking
Yeah.
what videos did well, looking, you know, was it the time I uploaded the video or the thumbnail or the tags or whatever? Like why did this do well? What are people positively responding to? I think there is so much invaluable data that YouTube just hands you on a back end plate. And I think it is such a shame and a waste not to look at it. Like I think you can learn so much and improve yourself in your content by looking at it. So
Yeah.
I'm always the one person that's like, no, you should look at your stuff. And then people kind of hate
Yeah.
that, but I think it's really important to do that.
Yeah. So how would you describe the setup that you started with, and then obviously compared to now?
Yeah. My very first videos were made on a laptop with a absolutely atrociously bad quality, like $15 mic. Going back and listening to those videos, I used that mic for like 2 years, and I'm like, what the why did I think that sounded good? No, gross. No wonder no one watched me. Yeah. And so really a laptop, an Xbox, a capture card, $15 mic. That was it. And then just some basic. I used to use Windows. I don't know if it still does. It used to come with Movie Maker, which was like a free little video editing software.
It still has it.
It still does. There you go. Yeah. So I used to use that. Not the best, but now, I have a very high end PC that I built myself. Worked my ass off buying and building it. Very proud of it. 3 monitors. That's why you see me looking over here. 3 monitor setup. I think 3 is the perfect amount. That's my opinion. Obviously, hopefully it looks all right. Pretty good quality face cam mic, and so it's upgrade one thing at a time. Never overextend yourself, sort of thing. Yeah.
And what would you say would be for someone starting up and I don't know they had $100 for example and they wanted to buy one thing for the stream, so equipment wise, what would you say would be the best investment with that $100? So just for example, it's $100, but
microphone. I think audio is the most important part of a video. I think people will go exorbitant or like just spend a ton of money on like a face cam, which I think it can be really important. But I think it's one of the least important things. I know I can't give you the citation, but I know I've read a study where people respond more heavily to audio than visual. Yeah. And so like having clear, good audio, I think is really important. And even for like, I would say that. And then because most capture cards are exactly the same, so like you don't really have to do anything weird there. And with audio, it's just like the mic and maybe like a mic arm, like a shock mount. So like you can probably get all that for like $150. But with a camera, you spend like $700 on a camera. If you want a specific lens, like $400 on the lens, and then you have to get like lighting and then a green screen potentially. It's like a microphone is so cheap and so simple. It is by far, I think, the first thing I would recommend anyone do.
Yeah, that's great advice for anyone that's looking at starting then. Audio.
Yeah, absolutely. Get your audio figured out first. There are some big YouTubers that like even in the Destiny space, in a lot of spaces where it's their audio quality isn't really as good as like if I usually like I'm not like I don't look for it, but there are some people where I'll listen. I'm like, wow, they're I don't think they're using a pop filter or their bass sounds really scooped or something, and it's like it'd be such an easy fix and it would just make the content so much better. Such an easy fix. Also, make sure you don't sit too far away from your mic. I think I'll do like audio tests probably about once a month. Like I'll listen back to something like a month ago and I'll listen to it and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Or oh, this sounds bad. What do I need to do? Do I still sound like this? Do I need to fix it? I think it's really important to watch some of your old content, not a lot, but a little bit, sample it.
Yeah.
To see like, because if I watch something I made yesterday, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, that's pretty good because I just did it. But if you forget you made something and then you go back and you look at it and you listen to it, you're a little bit more unbiased about it. And then you're more able to make critical decisions of it.
Yeah, cool. So we all have communities.
Yeah,
I have a tiny community here, and you obviously have a community of your own, whether it's watching the YouTube videos or the YouTube live streams. Communities are, in my opinion, the life of the channel. I do this and have a laugh with my community at the same time. I do it with my community.
for sure.
How would you describe your community?
Yeah, I mean they're always there, very attentive. Wrong about a lot of things, but that's chat. Yeah, just I mean, with any community, you're gonna have a large variation of people. But I'm incredibly thankful for my regulars, my mods. It is unbelievable, like to think about it. Like I've had mods working on my stream very consistently for like 4 years, and it's like they don't get anything out of it. I feel I've always had plans to like do something. Like I need to reciprocate that in some way. I don't know how, but it's always something that's bugging me in the back of my head. Like these people are amazing. the people I play with really consistently in my clan and stuff, like, obviously I couldn't do any of this without any of them too. I think it goes a lot deeper than a lot of people realize, but the like any creator will say about their community, my community is the best. So
Yeah.
that's just how it goes. Yeah. No, I'm pretty awesome. Yeah.
So if any of Scarrow's mods are in chat at the moment, you've heard there could be
61.
there could be something heading your way.
Sai has been probably the longest running consistent mod on my entire channel. And like I said, it's like I don't know how to repay that, but I know I need to at some point. It's just like it's just absurd. Like the amount of time that he's put in and the amount of like thoughts he's allowed me to bounce off of him and stuff like that is just unbelievable. So I'm eternally grateful for sure. For all of my mods, Sai just happens to be in chat, so I singled him out. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have the same feeling to mine. Obviously, a lot of mine are here now. Hesitant, Happy, Reaper, Empress, and I don't know what I'd do without them. Not just for this bit, and obviously, I won't class it as a job. They do this for me, and obviously out of the kindness of the heart, they do this for me. But also the conversations we have in mod chat through the daytime and chatting with each other. I've been going through a few health issues, and they've all been there. They've got my back. So you're absolutely spot on what you're saying about mods.
Yeah, the mods are
and community as well. Community members have asked me how I've been doing, and
yeah, it's always there's even streams that there have been times like with Worthy and stuff. My streams are doing pretty well. Like where I'll average like 500 or 600 people concurrent, and even during the high points, right? There's always this kind of like when you go live, there's always a thought like, you hit live and then you look at chat for a couple seconds and no one shows up, and it's like, is today going to be the day where I stream to no one again for the first time in 5 years? And it's always the first people. It's always the regulars. It's always the mods that pop in first. And it's like, as soon as you see that, it's just like, oh, thank Christ, dude. Like, I couldn't take that. Like, yeah.
No, always, I feel exactly the same.
Yeah. There's always just like a moment that's only a second long, but it feels like an eternity. It's like, is no one going to show up? And then I couldn't be more thankful for the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. So, last question for the podcast.
Yeah.
So, obviously, there's the YouTube videos and obviously streaming on YouTube. But do you have any plans for the future of things you may want to do? A different type of content? So for example, I obviously stream Destiny 2, but I do this podcast as well, which is obviously something different. That's what I wanted to do. But is there anything? Do you want to do a Destiny game show? Like, do you know what I mean? Is there something you want to branch out to or add to what you do in the future?
So, a lot of it is like I am one of these people that has like a lot of crazy ideas, but I have to rationalize with myself, and it's right now my main goal is completing my PhD.
Yeah.
So a lot of my side projects have kind of come to an end or not been able to come to fruition. One thing I've always wanted to do, and I've kind of dabbled behind the scenes and stuff, and nowhere near to being a completed product, but something I've always wanted to do is like write music. Like I play a lot of guitar, and I would love to make some Destiny themed songs or something. I think that'd be awesome. And I have very rough demos and recordings and ideas and stuff like that, and I have really great friends in the Destiny community, other streamers, Pigeon, Log, Power Slave, L Baconator, like a lot of my really good friends that I've made through the Destiny community, and bouncing ideas off of them and stuff. And that's something I think I would, if a day was 30 hours long instead of 24, I would probably work on that, refining my musical abilities and work more on that. I think that would be really cool. But for the foreseeable future, that is not something that will actually come to fruition, I think.
But fingers crossed. Destiny
Hopefully one day
Destiny 3 comes round and there's your name in the credits for some music.
writing it for them. I don't know about that, but
Well,
just like a Destiny track would be cool. Something like, I mentioned at the top, like Alina Siegman used to do. She worked at Bungie. I don't think she does anymore, but she did all the zombies tracks with Kevin Sherwood, and I always thought that was so cool. Like
yeah.
metal songs about a game. Like what? And I just think that would be so cool. But I yeah, not for the near foreseeable future, but maybe after. I have my second out of 3 defenses coming up at the end of this year. It's the hardest. The second defense is always the hardest, and if I pass that, then I'll have a little bit less stress in my life, a little bit more free time. Who knows? Maybe we'll see.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, I
Fingers
don't know.
crossed. Right, so we've got to the end of the podcast. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I had a great time.
And like I say, it's more of a chat than
Yeah.
an interview. But no, I've loved it. And I know, obviously, there's been lots of interaction in chat, and you can see people are enjoying, obviously, what you've been saying.
Yeah.
So, first off, again, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I really appreciate when you guys give up your free time to come and join me and do these podcasts. I love doing them, and I love chatting with the guests. I love finding out more about people as well, and getting to find out different things about yourselves. So, yeah, I've enjoyed it. That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah, once again, thank you for having me. It's been pretty fun. I always love doing these things.
So, what we usually do at the end of a stream, we will go right out to another channel.
Okay.
I like to do a raid command. So what we do with that is we go copy and paste that, and wherever we end up, we just spam their chat with it. It's all good fun. So, because there's so many highly talented people, I need to. I this is. I love doing the podcast. I think this is the hardest thing. It's trying to decide because there's so many good, really nice streamers about, and you're like, where do I go? Where do I go? And then I don't quite know. Right, I'll tell you what. Let's go somewhere where I haven't been before. It's always nice to go meet different people and raid different channels. If I can spell that correctly. There we go. So we're going to go right out to Silverspear. So she's another great member of the Destiny community. Like I say, I've not been here before. So all I ask is when we do go and raid channels is everyone shows love and support like you do to me, like you do to my guests. Spam that raid command in their chat. Show them hearts, drop them follows. Just show what a great community we have here with the Destiny community. And I will keep talking. This is my filler while I keep clicking the wrong thing. So let's click on that, and do that. So, before we head off, again, thank you, Scarrow, for joining me this evening.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone in chat, for coming, participating with your questions in chat, and obviously, I hope you've all enjoyed it. Again, just copy and paste that raid command, or copy it and then paste it into Silver's channel. And I will bid you all a good night. Everyone take care, stay safe. I will not be back on stream for the rest of the week. That's purely because my wife is in a different country and I've got the kids. So it's not kind of panned out well this week, but I will be back full schedule next week. So everyone have a nice weekend and good night.